The Nintendo Switch is an amazing console. It has so many incredible games already out after only 10 months, but there's another aspect of consoles that people don't think about too often, and sometimes you can't really find the best answer for, and that is, what accessories do you need for your Nintendo Switch? Things like extra controllers, how to protect the Switch, little quality of life things like a battery pack or something like that makes a difference. Today, I'm going to list all of the Nintendo Switch accessories you need to make your Nintendo Switch experience the best it possibly can be. I will have links to everything down below so you can look at prices and compare a few things and see what's best for you. So really quick at the beginning here, I'm going to go over a few things that I think are really cool. They're not necessarily super necessary, but they're really awesome. And I think that they make the Switch experience really cool. Some of them I have on my desk and things that I have, and add a bit of pizzazz to your Nintendo Switch. And the first one is this Nintendo Switch light up dock. And this is so cool because it has a Zelda and a Super Mario Odyssey one at this point. The Nintendo Switch dock is pretty bland and plain, and this is something that every time I put my Switch in my dock, I get excited to do. And even when it's just sitting on my desk, it's such a cool thing because in itself, it's a decoration, but adding it to your setup and every time you use your Switch just makes it super awesome. Like I said, it's not very important. It doesn't change the quality of your Switch, but it's a really cool decoration. And if you have your Switch on a setup that you're really trying to make look cool and you think that the regular one looks kind of bland, this is a little way to spice it up that I think is actually super cool. The next thing I want to talk about will only really apply to you if you use the Joy-Cons separately by themselves as multiplayer controllers, and that is these Joy-Con grips. They're really cool because they add a bit of a better feel to them, because if you've ever played with just the Joy-Cons, they're pretty small. Having these grips will enable you to hold the controller a little bit better, have a bit more structure to it, and it makes it more comfortable to hold for long gaming experiences. For instance, I just had a flight with my wife where we played Mario Kart, and I think having these grips would have been nice. I just couldn't fit them in my bag because I have all my camera equipment and my laptop equipment, recording equipment, stuff like that. But when we're on the go and I'm not necessarily carrying everything I own because I'm on vacation, then we can take these around with us and we can play Mario Kart just setting the Switch somewhere and play with these Joy-Con grips, and they're actually really cool. So if you want to play with the Joy-Con grips, you can't really afford to spend all this money for a wired controller or whatever it is, this really helps. This really helps make those multiplayer experiences able to last longer and a bit more enjoyable to play. Another thing that I think is pretty cool is if you feel like your hands are slipping off the analog sticks on the Joy-Cons a bit, or they're just not as grippy as you'd like them to be, these really cool analog caps by Hori are really awesome, and they add a bit of pizzazz, like I said, to your Switch, but they also give you a lot more grip, and I think they're actually really interesting. They look cool, and depending on the colors of the Joy-Cons you might have, if you have just the gray ones, they add a lot of color to it, but you can match them or mismatch them with the colors that you have to make them look really cool. So I think these are something to get, especially if you would like a better feeling on the analog sticks. Another quality of life thing that you don't necessarily need, but could benefit you if you travel around a lot and you want to play on people's TVs or just in like hotel TVs or whatever you want, is this Nyko portable dock. This is really cool because you can take it anywhere you want. It can charge your Switch, it can play it on the TV, you can plug, it has USB ports in it. So it's basically literally a dock, unlike the big old Switch dock that you can take around. You can just slide it right into your case if you have room. So it's actually a really versatile dock, and if you want to be someone that, like I said, takes around TVs, maybe charges your Switch on a dock so you could play it or whatever, this is something that you can do that with, and it's really cool because you see the screen while you're charging it and playing, which isn't usually something that happens when you play on the TV. So I think it's a cool thing if you just want to set it down and play your Switch, but you don't want to use the kickstand that comes with it because it's kind of meh, then you have this dock as well, which you can totally continue to play on and charge your device at the same time, which I think is really cool. And on that note, with charging and stuff like that, we have this Anker portable battery pack. This one's a bit on the pricey side. They do have smaller and cheaper ones, but I think this one's great because A, it has a huge size, which I mean, if you want to charge your iPhone or your Android phone, or you want to charge your Switch and then maybe something else as well, your Kindle, I don't know, whatever else gadgets you have, you can charge them all in here. It comes with quick charge, so if your phone has quick charge, it's like 85% faster or something like that, and it can charge multiple devices. It also has a quicker recharge rate than other devices, and I just think this is something, especially if you're going on trips a lot, you're traveling a lot, and you love your Switch and you want to be able to charge it and your iPhone and stuff, something like this is really worth picking up. Like I said, this one's a bit more on the expensive side, so you can pick up cheaper ones, but if you have the money for this, I think this is a great deal because it comes with a lot of power in there that will last a long time, multiple charges, and quick charge, and it's really reliable. It's a good quality. Anchors, if you've never had Anker stuff, it's great. So yeah, a portable battery pack, especially if you run out of battery a lot or you want to play Zelda Breath of the Wild at max brightness for 5 or 6 hours. There you go. And another thing that I think is a huge quality of life improvement for the Switch, because of the ridiculous fiasco that is the headsets and stuff right now, is the SteelSeries Arctic 3 Bluetooth headset. Now I'm gonna do a quick cut to Kevin Kenson's video on this, which I will also link in the description below, which I recommend you watching if you're thinking about picking up this headset. But it's awesome because it cuts out a lot of the wires that you've needed before to talk on the Switch and hear the gameplay at the same time. It's a super awesome headset. Again, it's a bit on the pricey side, but if you want to play multiplayer or if you want to travel around and talk to people, this is the headset to get.
Meaning that in a situation like the Switch, where you're using your phone for chat but still want to listen to the game audio from the Switch itself, you can now do that with only having a single cable running from the Switch to the headset instead of that whole mess of cables that you had with the Splatoon one.
So like I said, the link to Kevin Kenson's video will be in the description below, and it's totally worth watching because this headset is awesome. Alright, so at this point I'm going to cut to my holiday gift guide video where I talk about some of the more important accessories like wireless controller, Joy-Cons, and stuff like that, because I give a pretty in-depth analysis there. So here you go. To start off the Nintendo Switch gift guide, I need to start by telling you how you can keep your Nintendo Switch protected. You need either a screen protector or a Switch dock sock. I don't actually know what they're always called. They have a bunch of different names. I like to call them dock socks because I think it's funny. But you need either one of these things. Why? For 2 reasons. First, the Switch's dock is kind of cheapy plastic, and some of them aren't molded correctly, so a lot of people, including myself, have experienced when you slide the Switch into the dock, it scratches the screen or the back of the console. The back of the console can't super be fixed, but if you get a screen protector or a dock sock, you can kind of push your Switch against the front and not worry about scratching it, and thus not scratch the back. But the screen can be scratched if you don't have one of these 2 things. I'd always recommend a screen protector because anytime there's anything that's a touchscreen, I always put a screen protector on it, because if I don't, it inevitably gets scratched anyway, and then I'm sad because for the rest of my time owning this thing, it has a scratch on. So I'd recommend getting a screen protector right away, and then you don't have to get the dock sock. But I like these dock covers because they look really cool, and they're obviously super soft, but it can kind of give an added design to your Switch if that is what you want out of it. For me, I do like the regular Switch, how it looks, just having the Nintendo Switch icon on the front. It goes well with my black aesthetic on my desk, so I don't really care too much, but some people really like these, and then you'd never have to worry about scratching your screen. But you need one of these things. And just so you know, everything I'm going to talk about in this video is linked down below, so you can check out my picks of the best of these things, because there are 1,000 screen protectors. Some are better than others. I'll show you the one I got and what I like, and all the other things I talk about, they'll all be down there for you to explore further after the video. With the dock covers, they have a ton of different designs, and you can really customize whatever you want. And for me, I chose the Hori branded screen cover because that's the one that I prefer. I like that it's officially licensed by Nintendo, and for me, I'm a person that tries to go with things that are officially licensed. When it's an Apple product, I want to get the Apple cord, not the regular cords. I just feel like it's safer that way and it's gonna work better. I don't know, but that's just what I chose. So that's what I'll link below, and then you can check out other ones if you'd like. But now that you've protected the screen and potentially the dock, let's talk about the Switch as a whole. And this is where it gets fun, because the options for Switch cases are everywhere. There's so many different ones. I'm going to talk about the 4 main types that you should consider and really think about your use case and which one will fit you the most. First, we have the PDP Slim case, which is good for someone who wants something ultra portable. They don't really care about carrying around physical games because maybe they're going digital or they just have one physical game or whatever it is, and they want something ultra portable and easy to move around. This case is perfect for that because it's slim and you don't have to worry too much about weight, size, or anything like that. This is the most portable case of them all, and if that's what you want, this is a great case to go for. So the next one is Nintendo's premium travel case, which is what I have, and I have the Splatoon 2 version, but there's many other versions for Zelda, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey. There's a bunch of different ones, and I like this one the most because it actually comes with 2 game cases, which each have room for 4 games, and also it has little SD card carriers in each one if you want that, if you have an extra SD card. It also has a slot on the top where you can put in extra stuff inside of a mesh pocket, and the Switch fits perfectly over those game cases. And I think this one's great because it has a hard shell bottom, which is good for protection. It doesn't move around because it sticks to desks and stuff, and you don't have to worry about portability either because it's still pretty small. I can fit this into basically anything and it works really well. I carry around a bunch of games. My Switch, never have to worry about it being damaged or anything. I think this is the middle of the road. If you're not like, it has to be super slim, or I have to have the most options to carry things. This is the perfect case. It also has a lot of options of designs to choose from, and you can rep your Nintendo pride, which I think is really cool. Out of all the cases, this is really the only one that fleshes out that look and gives you designs. Next is the Satisfy case. I feel like saying it like that because the name is just spelled so funny. This one is a little bit of an upgrade from the premium travel case because it's got a hard shell outside, and they talk about being able to drop it from hundreds of feet up because it's meant to be indestructible, basically. Obviously, don't run it over with a car or something, but if you drop it off a bridge like an awesome YouTuber RGT85 did.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Jesus Christ.
You don't have to worry about your Switch getting messed up because, you know, it's just in the hard case. It also has room for carrying around games and stuff, so if you're worried about protection, I would go with this case. You're never gonna have to worry about anything happening to your Switch in this case. You can literally throw it out your window. You're walking down the stairs and there's 100 stairs in front of you and it rolls down all of them. You're good. This case got you on that one. So that would be the case I would go for if you need protection. Last but not least, we have Nintendo's Traveler Deluxe case. I actually have this case as well, but this case isn't really meant for a normal portability of the Switch. This case is meant if you want to take the Switch anywhere with you. They actually made a perfect case where you can take the dock, all the cords, the Joy-Cons with the Switch, the Joy-Con grip, and even more accessories along the way. It actually comes with game cases and everything. So this is a perfect case if maybe you're going over and spending the night at a friend's house and you want to play docked on their TV. You're like me and traveling home from college for a few weeks and you want to be able to play your Switch in docked mode with some of your family and friends. This is the perfect way to do that. While this case does run $40, I think for all it offers and all it gives, that's a really good price for this case. But like I said, this isn't a normal use case one. I wouldn't recommend this to everyone. I'd only recommend this if your use case is something where you'll be taking the dock and the rest of the Switch stuff around with you pretty consistently. And next we've got our controller options. And this is really good because I just made a video actually on the best Nintendo Switch multiplayer games, which you can watch here and I'll link in the description below, because the Switch is amazing for multiplayer. The Switch does come with the 2 Joy-Cons, which can be played with as one controller, or for a lot of games, you can use each Joy-Con separately and 2 people can play with one Joy-Con. However, of course, you are going to want to upgrade to more, whether it's you want to play more multiplayer games with more people, you want a nicer playing experience, because there are controllers beyond just the Joy-Cons to play with, and once you start playing with a regular controller, you never want to go back to the Joy-Cons, unless, of course, it's portable on the Switch. But you have a few options here. And the first option, of course, is just more Joy-Cons, which can actually be really cool because, like I said, each single Joy-Con can sometimes be played by one person. So if you just get another additional set of Joy-Cons, for a lot of games you have 4 controllers now and can play with 4 people, which is really cool. Or you can have someone use the Joy-Con grip and you use the 2 separately, or whatever it is. Maybe you get a second Joy-Con grip and you have 2 full controllers. So that is an option to consider. It's also in case there's backups, in case you mess up yours. Whatever it is, the Joy-Cons are a pretty good option. I wouldn't say they're the best, but all of these controllers are all about the use case and budget, and actually the Joy-Cons are the most expensive, running $80. What is cool about them is there is a bunch of colors and designs. There's yellow, there's blue, there's red. Like, you can switch it up a lot, and that is a cool aspect of the different Joy-Cons. But there are other better options, and I think the best option actually to get is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Now again, this is not a budget controller. It's $70, $10 less than the Joy-Cons, but this is the best way to play the Nintendo Switch. It has motion controls. It can do basically everything the Joy-Cons do on top of being wireless, and it just feels great. It's super enjoyable to play the Nintendo Switch with this controller. I would say this is your best bet if you just want to have the best playing experience. Go with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller for sure. But if you don't want to spend $70 and you want an additional controller, there is actually one more option. Before I say that though, I recommend never buying the cheap knockoff brands of controllers. They're never worth it. Like the old Nyko brand, it's just don't do it. Just don't buy those. And the third option is the Wired Controller Plus. Now these only run at $25. They're nowhere near as nice as the Pro Controller, but for almost a third of the price, you can't really blame them for being not as nice as the Pro Controller. Now I actually have one. I have the Legend of Zelda Wired Controller Plus, and it's a pretty nice controller. I tend to use it if I'm charging my wireless controller, or if I'm not really thinking about using that one, or if it's just plugged in already, I'll use it. It's not the biggest deal, but when you're on a budget, or if you want to get some of these other accessories and you really want to get them a controller as well, or you want a controller for yourself, this is a really good option. It's enjoyable to play with, it makes it better than the Joy-Cons, and it's not wireless or anything, but the cord is 10 feet. So you can be across the room and be totally fine with this controller being wired. It's not short, unlike the SNES Classic Edition and NES Classic Edition. What were they thinking with those? So if you were to get, let's say, another set of Joy-Cons and a wired controller, or a Pro controller and the wired controller, you all of a sudden have enough to play with 4 people, no matter how you split it. So I definitely think that you can figure out which one works best for you and find the best use case, because for some people, another set of Joy-Cons is all they'll need. For some people, they're going to be a hardcore gamer and they want that Pro controller, and for those people that, you know, are going to play this a ton, Pro controller is worth it. Anyway, moving on to something that you might not think about, but is really valuable, another AC adapter. The reason for this is you have the AC adapter that comes with the Switch, and this is going to be plugged into the dock. Now let's say you're traveling and you've been using your Switch all day, and all of a sudden you're like, crap, I don't have my charger, and you have to go home, you have to unplug it from the dock, you have to take it out, you have to take it with you, and then when you get back home, you got to replug it into the dock and put the Switch in there. But what you could really do is just leave that AC adapter in there, never have to worry about it, and also buy an additional one so that when you travel around, you just have that with you everywhere you travel. In that case, you can always just come right home, sit your Switch on the dock, it's ready to go. There's no changing out the cords, plugging it in, because that sucks, especially because this system is meant to be portable and taken around all the time. For me, I take my Switch around all the time. I would die without an extra AC adapter. I can't even imagine having to always go back to that dock and open it up and take it out and plug it back in. No, I don't have time for that. So an extra AC adapter, they are a tad bit expensive, $25 for Nintendo's AC adapter, but I really do think it's worth it. You will very, very soon pay back that money in the time you save, not unplugging it from your dock. But this is where the last thing comes in, and that is SD cards. Now, the problem with SD cards is that your Nintendo Switch needs one if you're going to be buying multiple games. It only comes with 32 gigabytes of storage, which some of the games that come physical, like NBA 2K18, Doom, and others, you have to buy an SD card for to even play the entire experience. So you're getting a game or two, that's fine. They don't need a SD card right now. They're gonna need it in a little while. 3 or 4 games, your thing's full already. So there's a few options for SD cards, but I really think this option here from Amazon, it's just a micro SD card. You can get 200 gigabytes of space for around $77, which is an amazing deal. It's literally 6.25 times the space on the Switch, which, unless you're buying a ton of games all the time, is plenty of space. And the thing is, you can switch out these SD cards, so you could get 2 200 gigabyte ones, or maybe you get one now and then they fill it up eventually and then you get another one. That's totally an option. You can also go a little bit smaller to the 128 gigabyte if you don't think they'll be buying too many games, and that one's only $42, so it is a bit more of a budget option. And you can go all the way up to a 400 gigabyte one. Eventually there will be 2 terabyte support, but I don't see a reasonable 2 terabyte SD card coming out anytime soon. But you can get a 400 gigabyte one for $250, which I think is way too much. You could literally buy 2 200 gigabyte ones for $150. So I don't know why you would do that, but you can. It is an option. Whatever you want to do, I would recommend an SD card. If maybe you just want to go small right away so they'll have enough, and then maybe a year down the line, you want them to buy more if they want to buy more games. You never know. That's what I'm saying. All of this is based on your use case. Think about if you're the person you're buying this for, or even if it's yourself. Are you going to be buying a lot of games? Are they going to be big games? Or are they going to be the little games that are 500 megabytes on the eShop? Those are all things to consider, but I would definitely recommend an SD card. And for the best value, that 200 gigabyte one, I know it's about a little bit more than a game, but that will last you a long time. I know it's lasted me a long time, and I play a lot of Switch games. All right, guys, and I hope this video of the best Nintendo Switch accessories helped you decide what you want to buy, what you think you should need for your Switch, what will be best for you, and everything, like I said, is linked down in the description below. You can get different prices, you can look for deals, all that kind of stuff, and I just hope that this is an amazing video for you guys that are looking for things to buy for your Switch to maybe have some quality of life improvements. Also, leave your opinions in the comments below about anything I missed, stuff that I could have added to make it a bit better, things that you got as an accessory that you think are important. Maybe I'll make an update video or a second video talking about more accessories people should get for their Nintendo Switch. Anyway, guys, if you're new to this channel and like this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more videos like this that are helpful and also a bit enjoyable to watch. And don't forget to give that like button some love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's continue to create the greatest gaming community in the world. I'll see all you guys in the next video.